I'm going to read about 4 poems. The first 3 are things I've written recently. They're not explicitly related to climate change, but the 4th one I wrote specifically for today. Next time it happens, when you are old, and if you make it there, things will be different, sadder, less light. But tonight you have your milk teeth in mind, how they left you, how then there was nothing else to do but push your tongue into the wound, the invitation to explore and press just so, too forceful a craving to deny, that request to disturb but not break, novel, temporal, irresistible as the flirtation of skin on hot milk. All of this concluded so quickly, ended when slowly solidity returned anew, arising from tenderness, bigger, not what you'd known exactly, but rising anyway, and sure of itself. An air's rock of the gums for you, the youngling, allure to you who was always there. Thinking back now, with your mouth full of stones, do you miss, the flavor of the wound, the elementary meditations to the upthrust of life, not to the pound under the pillow, but to the plasma with its ferrous taste of salt? Thank you. What it means. The campus nurse offers up pills like penny sweets, means it when she says it's just one less thing to worry about. Her pen is crossing the prescription sheet like a finish line. It's okay. There are many freedoms. In the first world, freedom from bloodshed is tasted between the legs. I don't judge. How would she know I have learned to love the cup spilling over the floor of the bath, a Rothko on fiberglass, circa this month, a private showing, an opening ceremony. There is nothing like knowing I am an orchestra, only rehearsing. I am an orchestra warming up, waiting to play, at a place and a date not yet confirmed. Thank you. Does anyone know what a moon cup is? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. You can relate that to the last poem. Anyway, this is called Fate's Hearing, and this is one that I wrote while I was at the Barbican Young Poets, and it's a really great program where about 20 young poets get together and we work with 2 more professional poets. One is Jacob Sam LaRose, and the other this year was Jasmine Koure, and they both have done things internationally. It was really fantastic. One of them in the group this year was Aisling Farhi, and she's the Young Poet Laureate for London, so it's a really fantastic group of writers. And I think I didn't take writing seriously until I had people to write with, so it really shows what a community can do. So, this is the one to whom sadness refused sleep. She wrote through the night until pencil died and pen ran drier than her eyes. Pen was her transmuter of darkness, birthing a grand scroll of blood coagulating on papyrus. Meanwhile, the tornado apologized and returned whence it came just as quickly. Trees stretched on land, fallen still as whales out of water, missing their 2/3 of the earth. Wind was speechless, dumb with the silence of the solar eclipse, birdless and without clouds. All the world turned inwards away from her, amused by its own absent seizure. Which one of us did she curse then? It was to us she came, naked, hands out forth like the blind, and we had used the word forgiveness. knowing how it left her not a fig leaf for decency. She walked home with her knot of pain and knit with it a warmer coat than joy. What should we say next time? And how may we tell her, kindly, that she does not own even her own grief, that she must let go? Okay, so this final one I wrote specifically for today, and I think we'll talk about some of the things I mention in here. We'll talk about at the panel stage. But as an introduction, it's a response, and this is going to be interesting. It's a response to discourses of overpopulation, which you often hear in relation to climate change, and how I think that it's something which should be spoken about, but we have to be careful about what we mean when we say the world is becoming overpopulated. I think it can be a bit dangerous sometimes when we have those conversations. So, slow burn. They spoke of the earth like its fever was overpopulation, and it was unsettling. It seemed just a chicer way to talk migrants or immigration with an echo of gentrification. It was really the same conversation in green couture, which is by implication simply to say that if there were just, excuse me, less of us, if we could please mind the doors decrease, if some could perhaps cease to be here, have less babies, then everything would balance out. There would be food and drinkable water, no drought, enough air, enough oil, and room for everybody on the tube. History already knows who everyone is, more specifically, who it isn't. It was never everybody. How could it be when 1% wear pockets heavier than the whole 99 and 20% eat what the other 80 grow? Clearly everybody has never been so. How privileged must you be to argue like that? As though the earth were a crowded city train and not some titan of a poorly managed ship keeling over, water filling the lower decks, because those at the helm have been intent to keep on keeping on into modernity and beyond, because trees ain't nothing, not if they're not the money that they're used to make. Don't we know sustainability and capitalism are like an oil slick on water? They don't mix, they can't. And when they do, and we've seen this, things begin to die. Remember, things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Maybe you learned that in school. School was a long time ago, but this crisis is now, and it is not truly green until we admit that it is holistic. It is so historical, ideological, therefore political, economic, and brown and black. When we see the bodies, when we count them, the 50 times as many lives washed away by floods in countries often undeveloped by ours. Please remember this with your polar bears and your ice caps as the crops fail and the waters rise and the ships begin to sink. This was always a moral issue, not about populations. The underlings were not the problem, but they are the first to drown. Thank you.